What's up, Goody here, reviewing Chapter 70 of Boruto. Now, in this chapter we get some absolute bombshells dropped on us. Shikamaru now has a very dangerous target on his back. Kawaki and Boruto are confirmed to be stronger than Naruto himself. The good guys figure out a way to surpass Eida's Senrigan clairvoyance. And finally, one of our main characters is in imminent danger of death. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe for more, and now let's jump right in. Now, since Boruto is a monthly manga, it's very important to set the stage here to remind everybody what's going on and what's happening. So in the past few chapters, we've seen Code and Eida invade Konoha through the claw mark on Shikamaru's neck. Code wants to get close to Amado, so he will remove his limiters. If he removes his limiters, he'll be able to fight Kawaki and Boruto, no problem. As soon as they pop out of this claw mark, Shikamaru captures them both in his shadow paralysis jutsu. Now, unbeknownst to Shikamaru, Eida has an infatuation technique, so everyone that looks at her cannot attack her to actually harm her. So Delta and Shikamaru both are frozen in place basically and cannot attack her. The only people not captivated by this are Boruto and Kawaki due to their status as Otsutsukis and her blood relative like Damon. Since Shikamaru's in this standoff, Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto are on the way to help. He requested backup. Shikamaru is communicating with all of them through Ino's telepathy jutsu, and at the end of chapter 69, Shikamaru offered Eida a spot in Konoha if she'll turn her back on Code. Now, this brings us up to speed, and we can start at chapter 70. Chapter 70 picks up in the lab right after Shikamaru offered to take Eida into the Leaf Village. Eida sees this as an opportunity to get closer to Boruto and Kawaki, primarily Kawaki, as she has a massive crush on him, and she actually considers it briefly. All of a sudden, her left eye activates, and Shikamaru has no idea why or what this is. Amado explains to him through the telepathy link that Eida is using her Senrigan, which allows her to see everything happening anywhere in the world, and also anything that ever happened in the past up to the day she was born. We also learned that despite her clairvoyance, she cannot read their minds and eavesdrop on the conversation they're having using Ino's telepathy link, which means she can't fully peer into their hearts, as Shikamaru puts it. While all this is going on inside the lab, we see Naruto rush to try and open the door to the lab, but Shikamaru had Ino change the combination so as to keep him out. See, even after initially requesting Naruto and Sasuke as backup to face Code and Eida, Shikamaru realized that with Eida's infatuation ability, having Naruto and Sasuke join the fray would just make things worse, since Eida could basically control them upon sight and they are just powerhouses. Sasuke and Boruto also show up outside, locked out with Naruto. Eida begins to speak once again, addressing Shikamaru's proposal for her to join Konoha and ditch Code. She explains that she originally thought Konoha would see her as yet another leftover piece of the Kara organization, but she really has no beef with the Leaf Village, so they really aren't enemies. Shikamaru agrees to this, except that if she keeps working with Code, she will be an enemy. Now, we then cut away from this scene back to Kawaki, who's being treated by the class rep Sumire. She's questioning him about his and Boruto's relationship after he technically killed Boruto several chapters ago. Kawaki virtually ignores this. He's still fixated on his karma that Amado restored without his permission. Sumire suggests that he must have done it when he repaired Kawaki's forearm after his fight against Momoshikified Boruto. Kawaki realizes that the karma would never have manifested himself if he didn't truly want it to, though. Also, if he didn't have the karma, Naruto, who he sees as a father figure, would have been killed in the fight against Code and Momoshikified Boruto. So Kawaki claims to truly be grateful for the presence and the powers of his karma now, which Sumire knows is a dangerous train of thought, as Amado had hinted to her in the past that he's manipulating Kawaki using that very karma. She claims that Amado is obsessed with Kawaki's karma for his own selfish reasons, but she doesn't elaborate any further on this at this time. We then go back to Code holding Amado hostage, attempting to get him to give up the command code to remove his limiters. If he gets his limiters removed, he can get his full powers back and he can face Kawaki and Boruto, and they really wouldn't stand a chance at this point. Shikamaru urges Amado to withstand this torment for a little bit longer, as if Code were to truly kill Amado before he gave up the command code, he wouldn't be able to ever unlock his full power, so that really wasn't even an option for Code. On the other hand, if Amado were to give up the codes, Code would have no use for him anymore and kill him to get him out of the way. Eida chimes in here saying that they need to retreat immediately as she'd used her Senrigan and saw that Kawaki's on the way. Shikamaru's worried now about Kawaki using Ishiki's shrinking power, the Sukuna Hikona to shrink himself and enter through an air vent. He realizes that this could be a good thing, however, as Kawaki can use his karma to destroy Code's claw marks and cut off his and Eida's escape route. Amado does not agree with this, however, he explains that Kawaki cannot be ensnared by Eida due to his status as an Otsutsuki, so Shikamaru likes the idea of Kawaki arriving even more, but Amado does not like this. He doesn't like this because he obviously needs to use Kawaki's karma for something, as there's been crazy amounts of foreshadowing about this, and if Kawaki dies now fighting Code, he'd pretty much just be out of luck. Amado accuses Shikamaru of wanting Kawaki dead since he's such a wild card to Konoha, especially now that he's even stronger than Naruto since the loss of Kurama. In the middle of this, Ino is still there, listening to it all. She breaks the squabble up, and then Amado calmly comes back and says that they should let Code and Eida retreat to let Kawaki and Boruto have even more time to train before facing them again. This is actually not bad reasoning on his part, but we know there's ulterior motives behind them. Anyway, at this point, Code surprisingly shoves Amado through his claw mark portal. He figures that it would be easier to continue this torture at the hideout since he still hasn't gotten the command codes, and Kawaki was fast approaching, which could spell danger for Code. Shikamaru uses a last-ditch shadow paralysis attempt to stall them until Kawaki arrives, but Eida uses Delta to attack Shikamaru and prevent this from actually doing any good. We can definitely tell that at this point Shikamaru still didn't quite understand the power that Eida has over those around her, especially simple-minded individuals like Delta. Eida thanks Shikamaru now for his offer of letting her join the Leaf Village, and then she retreats through the claw mark with Code. Code addresses Shikamaru before he leaves, telling him that he's added him to his retribution list before he escapes through his own claw mark. This basically means that Code has marked Shikamaru and vows to get revenge for the things done in this chapter, which is a very, very bad thing for our boy. Despite his wits, he's absolutely no match for Code in a one-on-one fight. At this point, Kawaki busts into the room as soon as Code vanishes, and Shikamaru has him destroy the claw marks in the room so that Code and Eida cannot return. Now, we see Code, Eida, and Amado back at their Kara hideout, where they meet Eida's brother, Damon, much to Amado's surprise. Code begins pressing Amado yet again to remove his limiters. Amado asks Code why in the world he would do that if Code was just gonna kill him right after, to which Code pretty much has a sarcastic non-reply. There's no answer to that because he's gonna do that anyway. Amado makes a proposal to Code now. He would remove the limiters immediately if Code just agrees to let him live. They seemingly agree to this, and Amado utters the phrase, "There's no dress code," and Code's limiters vanish. Now, as I'm sure we all saw coming, Code immediately turns on Amado. He rares back to, quote, free Amado from his suffering, and that's where chapter 70 ends. Now let's quickly talk about this chapter and some important takeaways we can take from this. Eida turns down Shikamaru's offer to join Konoha, so it's likely that she's going to take on an antagonistic role in the story with her brother Damon, and she's going to continue to chase after Kawaki because he's obsessed with him. We also learn that she cannot read the minds and communications of those using the Yamanaka clan's telepathy link. I feel like if she takes on a big antagonistic role, this will play a large part in the story, using this link to communicate where she can't see what they're talking about. Another thing that was confirmed is that Naruto can no longer keep Kawaki and Boruto in check. We all suspected this because he lost Kurama. He's simply not as strong as he used to be. Sasuke also isn't since he lost the Rinnegan. Kawaki and Boruto are going to be at the forefront of this story now, power-wise and story-wise. We also saw that Kawaki has questions about his karma for Amado, but he may never get an answer because Amado may be dead. And leading into my next point, Amado may be killed by Code in the very next chapter. We saw him begin this process in the very last panel. Finally, we saw Code's powers fully unlocked, seemingly, by Amado after he removed the limiters. Thing about this is, I don't know if Amado truly removed all the limiters because he's kind of a sly fox, and he really wouldn't do that without assurance that he was gonna live, and we saw Code immediately turn on him, so I really don't know where it's gonna go. Now, if Code's powers truly have been fully unlocked, Kawaki and Boruto currently don't stand a chance, so I see a training arc likely in the future. We'll see where that goes. Well guys, what did you all think of chapter 70? I think it opens up a myriad of possibilities, especially now that Code, Eida, and Amado all left Konoha. Let me know down below in the comments if you think Amado will survive or not. As always, smash that like button, subscribe, check out the video or playlist linked on screen for more, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a great time.